Hello everyone, we are the Health Promotion Disease Prevention Team. Today we are featuring mushrooms as our harvest of the week. And mushrooms are extremely variable in their size, shape, and their color. Although they're considered a vegetable, they are part of the fungus family. They've been around for thousands of years and have been foraged, eaten, and even used medicinally. They have a flavor that we refer to as umami, so they have a very savory, earthy flavor, and they work out really well as a substitute for meat. They are in their prime right now during the fall and winter months, and they're widely cultivated around the world. So you can find them at your local supermarket, and when they're in season, they are more affordable, they're more nutritious, and they're at their prime in terms of flavor too.
So when you're looking for mushrooms in the supermarket, you want to find mushrooms that are nice and firm and that the whole cap is intact. You want to avoid any that kind of look, that have like a sliminess to them, and you want to avoid some that are, that might have like moldy or black spots on the mushroom. At the store, usually a lot of the mushrooms will have a little bit of dirt on them, which is fine, and they should smell, they should have a nice and earthy smell to them. When storing mushrooms, you can store them in your crisper drawer for about 1 week. Make sure that you don't clean them until you're ready to use them, because that could, mess with the freshness of the mushrooms. And the best way to actually store your mushrooms is in a brown paper bag. So what you want to do is take them out of the container that you get them in, put them in the nice paper bag, and then make sure that the paper bag is open, because this will help reduce the moisture that happens with the mushrooms. In addition to buying them in the store, you can actually forage for them yourself. The caveat to that is you need to make sure that you're doing it with someone who's experienced in mushroom foraging. In addition to having a lot of varieties that we can eat, a lot of them can be very poisonous and dangerous for us. So it's important that you're not just going out and picking whatever mushrooms you find. You want to make sure that you do that with someone who is well experienced and can look out for poisonous varieties. In addition, you can even grow your own. On the internet or even at farmers markets, vendors will sell like these pre-made logs that you can purchase, and all you have to do is inject the spores into the log and then mist it with some water, and then in a couple of weeks you'll have your very own fresh mushrooms that you can use for whatever dish that you decide to cook. And so today we have technically two different varieties. So we have shiitake mushrooms, we have cremini mushrooms, and portabella mushrooms. And a fun kind of interesting fact is that these cremini mushrooms are actually just immature portabella mushrooms.
So when working with mushrooms, the first step is to properly clean your mushrooms. So if possible, you do want to avoid rinsing them under water. And we want to avoid doing that because mushrooms tend to be very much like a sponge, so they're going to absorb any of that excess water. So an alternative way to clean your mushrooms is you can use a damp paper towel or paper cloth, and then just dip it in some water like this, and then just gently rub around the exterior of the mushroom to get off any of that excess dirt. And like we talked about, having dirt on the mushroom is very normal, and it won't hurt you, but trying to thoroughly remove as much of that excess dirt as you can. Another technique is using a vegetable brush, and you can just go around and scrub off some of that excess dirt. Now, when you will want to rinse the mushroom under running water is if you're working with incorporating them raw into a dish. So for example, if you're going to incorporate them into a salad raw, you would want to make sure to rinse them thoroughly under running water. And mushrooms are very versatile in terms of cooking. So you can cook them any way your heart desires. You could roast them, you could grill them, you could steam them, you could even slice it up. So we're gonna demonstrate here with one of our cremini mushrooms. You could just slice it into nice even chunk sizes here. And you could saute it from here in some olive oil and add to perhaps a pasta dish. You could also chop it up even finer if you wanted to, your slices. and mince it up into even finer pieces and maybe incorporate that into an omelet or a stir fry, maybe even a soup or a stew. So again, mushrooms have a very earthy, savory flavor, and they work great as a meat replacement if you want to try a vegetarian type of a dish. We are featuring a recipe today for a Portabella Pizza. And this is a great recipe to try out with your kids. So you will need a Portabella mushroom cap. And this is optional, but you can remove the feathery gills on the inside of the mushroom just to allow it to be an easier process with stuffing. A fun fact about the gills is that if they are expanded and they're larger, that's a sign that the mushroom is older, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. That means that it's likely more flavorful if the gills are open. So we hope you learned a lot about mushrooms today. They're also so nutritious for us, rich in vitamins, minerals that are all very protective for our heart health. Please share with us any of your favorite recipes with mushrooms, and please give our recipe for the Portabella Pizza a try. Have a great day.